It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day and day one of a 2-day in Chula, Vista. Funny story. The client that lives in this home recently bought it, and I had done their yard in their old house. And as I'm coming over to do the consultation for this project, it was all looking very familiar, and it turns out they bought the home of a really good friend of mine. So I'm very familiar with this property, and that was just kind of a happy coincidence. But the beginning, they're not ready to give up their lawn. However, they do obviously want to do something with this hot mess here. So what we are going to do is carve in a more attractive flower bed through here. We're going to bring it out here since the lawn is not really doing well. We'll bring it out here, and we'll connect it to the corner of the home. Greg will take the 2 existing lawn sprinklers that are here and move them out so they can continue to hit the lawn unobstructed. Then from this sprinkler here, he'll be able to tap into that to run the drip for our new installation on this side. Now, the driveway side poses some really fun and unique challenges. I mean, clearly this is just a disaster. I don't even know where to begin, but here are the challenges. So you've got this driveway, and my suggestion to them too is to pull up the Home Depot pavers, as I like to call them, and just do artificial turf for now in the groove since they're keeping their lawn. That's the neatest, easiest, most attractive option in my opinion. But here's the challenge. So you pull into the driveway, you got to be able to egress. You got to be able to open the door and step out. And you need to get from here to there, preferably without having, to snake along here and go all the way down and up there. So this is all footings up in here. I can't do anything about this plant-wise. So we're just going to stage a couple of really pretty flagstones right here in the event that they want to cut through this way. And then this will all just be decoratively rocked in something way more attractive than this. I think this is Vegas pink. Then here, we're going to take up all of these Home Depot pavers, and I'm going to make a really beautiful mosaic flagstone path utilizing this area right here coming up to the porch. So it'll be really easy to walk up to the porch this way. Then we will do flagstones along the edge of the drive in a decorative pattern all the way down. And then this area here will be my tapestry zone. It's just going to be 100. So much better. You can see I've got a lot of plants. Greg and I went to Oasis yesterday with the trailer, and I basically took everything they had. So I've got all of these over there and some hiding around there, and then I've got all of these here. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, here it is. One of you asked yesterday for a really great succulent tip of the day idea, and I loved it. You know how I'm always talking about, well, in a year this garden will have grown 25%. And you all are like, well, could you give us a visual? What does that look like? And that's a brilliant idea, and I'm going to be more mindful of doing that as we move forward and go back and visit installations. But let's just take a look at an example. This is cotyledon mint truffles. This is a baby 1-gallon can. And here's one over here that's been in the landscape for about a year. Scott and Gaynor planted this when they bought the house. So you can see what I'm talking about. This is what a year's growth looks like just with this one plant. So I hope that gives you a visual, and I hope that helps when I talk about the plants growing, in this case, more like 250%, not 25. But you get the idea, I hope. Okay. Catch you when we've made some progress. How you do it. Okay, so we are done with day one. We Had a little bit of a glitch when Greg went to test the irrigation. There was a broken pipe over by the gate that had to be repaired, and at one time all of this was grass, so there were pop-ups everywhere that had to be capped. So it was a little more than we expected, but we got through it. Greg identified one port for our drip, so we'll run the drip irrigation all through here off of this, and then there's a port over on the other side of the drive for drip irrigation over there. So Kevin and Mel and I came together and gave birth to this landscape. I did the middle, Mel did this side, Kevin did this side. It was so fun just to marry our aesthetics, and I'm so pleased with the results. This small scale landscape, I want to make as much of a visual impact as possible in this small space. So in this bed, which is about 3 feet wide by maybe 15 feet wide, we put over a half a yard of soil in here, if you can imagine that, and a lot of rock, a lot of rubble. I got a basket from Southwest Boulder this morning. You saw it. And, you know, we've burned through quite a bit of that rock. Now, this is where the third R in the 3 R's of good design comes into play. That third R being, yes, restraint. Where do you leave room to breathe? You have to remember when you're doing your installations, just because, you know, I had the budget on this job to blow this out and go Disneyland and go thick with plants, but that would not have looked good, and it would not have been even remotely sustainable for any length of time. So knowing that I'm going to bring in 3/8 Palm Springs gold and 3/4 black, and also some smaller 3 to 6 inch rubble, which may be Baja Cresta, or it might be honey quartz. I don't know, don't care. But there's more elements going in here, and I really need, and so do you in your designs, to be mindful. Exhibit A here, the Salisto Cactus grissonii. I had Kevin plant that on a really big hill. I said, that's the focal I want here. You know, you do you, but I want that there. So it's stuck up really high. Then we staged a piece of rubble right up against it there. There's rubble flanking it on all sides, and then there's open space. And looking at it from this perspective, you can see the cliffs, you can see the ledges, and it just goes down like this. It's stunning. And over time, you know, this gives the plant material room to grow a bit before I need to come do maintenance. So all of the places here where you see dirt, and I may tuck in a piece of rubble or two still, but it's going to be, you know, the second and the third layer of rock. So withhold judgment right now. Trust me on this, and you'll see when we finish up tomorrow what I'm talking about and how polished it's going to look. We still have this whole area here. I cut the lawn out by, you know, about double what it was, and we moved that Vegas pink rock that was all in here into the rose garden, so that looks much better than it did already. And then here, remember, we're going to do our flagstone path, and then run flagstones all along the edge of the drive. And then the installation will be, you know, about half of this side. So believe it or not, I'm going to be heading to Waterwise Botanicals tomorrow morning early to fill up the back of Hannah's truck with, you guessed it, more plants. Because despite the hundreds of plants that I brought from Oasis, it is not going to be enough to finish this, even leaving space for the eye to rest. So I'll be sure and count the plants for you on this job. and let you know just how many I used, just how much soil, basically what the dimensions were of this project, because I feel like you all probably have something similar to this at home that you might want to do. It's a great DIY project. You know, it's something that's not too giant, but it's going to take a lot more materials than you think. Trust me. So, thanks so much for following. This has been fun and just really dialed in after our giant Poway job. So we're going to enjoy the next couple of days here with you. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with Day 1 in Chula Vista and your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.